Let's go, girls.
From New York City to Los Angeles, Powered Up with Beck and Franklin is giving women of all ages permission to live the life they've always dreamed of. Why live in black and white when you can choose the brilliance of 3D and Technicolor? Each week, Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin and their high-powered guests will be here to cheer you on, to share their challenges, their successes, and what they've learned along the way. It's all about women supporting women. The stories and practical tips on sex, beauty, money, and so much more are designed to help you reconnect to the powerful woman you are. Fabulous knows no limits. Now it's time for you to expand your boundaries. Here are Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and we've got one of our health and wellness shows, which always excites me, Linda. I get so excited. You'd think we were eating, but we're not.
Okay. If that's what turns you on, then that's a good thing.
It is, but I will tell you, it's like really hot, like toaster oven hot out here, 97 degrees, and it's so easy to drink lots of fluid and eat lots of light, fruits and vegetables. It's so much easier when, the weather is nice and you can exercise and run around. And you had such a tough winter. I got to tell you, there's probably lots of people up on the eastern seaboard with that awful winter that packed on the pounds.
It's a funny thing. I usually gain more weight in the summer than I do in the winter.
Do you
I don't know.
really?
I don't know what it is, but in the summer, it's I guess it's more about yogurts and I don't know. I'm not that it's not big variables. I'm talking maybe 3 or 4 pounds, and up and down. But it's it's just interesting that in the summer I usually gain weight.
See, that's interesting. Yeah, because I'm the opposite. In the summer, I am hiking, I'm running, I'm swimming. I can eat like a horse and not gain a pound. But in the winter, when it's cold and it's icky outside, I don't feel like going out and doing anything. And I just love to sit with like a big bowl of something hot and yummy. And I pack on the pounds. I probably put my 10 pounds of winter fat on every year and then take it off in the spring.
Well, I don't have that big variable because I guess I eat pretty much the same in the winter as I do in the summer, except it's just maybe more salads in the summer. But it's all good. Well, you do what works for you. That's it. Everybody's an individual. Everybody's got a different system, and so you find out what works for you and you stick with it, and you hold on to it.
See, and that's why we're co-hosts, because I don't like to stick with anything. I like a new diet every 3 months. I like a new workout regime. I get my videos, my, things I order online, and I like the variation, and I like to eat seasonally because I think if I have like tangerines all year round, I just don't get the enjoyment of like, oh my God, it's tangerine season. All the orange trees are in bloom out here, and I can't wait for the fresh oranges. I'm really funny that way. I'm a creature of change.
Yeah, well, there's change and then there's change. I don't focus a whole lot on what I eat. I mean, I try to eat healthfully all the time. Yeah, now there's all of these beautiful berries around and stuff, so I buy all of that. And I have the same breakfast every day. 24/7. Not 24/7, I guess. every week for 52/7. I know when I find something that works for me, I stick with it. I don't have to go looking around. Same with skincare. I mean, now I've got a new regime with these products that I absolutely love, and I'm sticking with them because I can see a difference, and I love the way it looks. So I don't need to be shopping around. And spiritually, when I find something that works for me, I stick with it. And then maybe something new comes on that you add to it. But that's just me. And that's what I said. We're all different. We all, groove to different tunes. So you just have to know what your tune is and then hang in there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about you. So what do you eat every day for breakfast? You have to answer that because you can't say you've eaten the same thing for like 20 years, like day in and day out, and not tell us what it is.
I buy whole grain cereal at Trader Joe's. I have my cereal. I put in a half a banana. I put in if they're in season, I'll put in blueberries and a cup of coffee and my vitamins and a glass of water. That's it. Gives me the energy that I need until lunch. So and I like that. I know it's good for me and it works for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's cool. I think
and
that's
even
awesome.
if I'm like tomorrow morning, I have a business breakfast. I have a business breakfast Thursday, but before I go to my business breakfast, I will have a smaller amount of what I would usually have, but I'll have that before I go out the door.
Interesting. I'm trying to get better at that because I'm a running on empty girl, and I will feed my kids, feed my dogs, run out, and all of a sudden it's 10:30, and I've had a cup of coffee for the entire morning. So, I've been doing really good actually slowing down, and I find these shakes help me a lot just because I can whiz those up while I'm doing everything else and grab them like on the go. But I think that's interesting how we're always so different. It's so much fun whenever we get on the air. What'd you do this weekend? It was Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend, we were in Connecticut. But before Memorial Day weekend, last week we had our Fleet Week makeover for our women veterans, and it was a fabulous event, fabulous turnout. It was Erno Laszlo Institute. Erno Laszlo is a skincare giant from 20, 30 years ago, or probably even before that, but got a very specific skincare regime, and they hosted our makeover in their beautiful space down in Soho here in New York, and it was absolutely fabulous. The women were dressed by this designer Alvin Valley, and they looked terrific. And then we had hair and makeup. Angelo David, and we had the makeup done by she's terrific. She does all the makeup for Saturday Night Live, and she's done three or four.
How fun is that?
Yeah, and she does 3 or 4 of our events already, and she just loves it. Everybody loves it, but Erno Laszlo went way, way, way over the top. I mean, the food was unbelievable. Whoever their caterer was, they had hors d'oeuvres that were coming around in multitudes, and they were delicious. And then they had Prosecco, so we had a little bit of the bubbly. And then, desserts came like huge chocolate-covered strawberries, which are my favorite thing ever. And it was and then we had a wonderful singer do the national anthem. And the women and men that came as our guests to enjoy that evening and share with our military women, everyone had a great time. It is so unbelievable how everybody connects because it's such a heartwarming event, and every military woman has her own story. One of the women that we made over was not a veteran, but she was married. She's a spouse, and she was married to her husband, who was in the Army. And he I think he went through 2 deployments, and he came home, and he was fine. And in January, he dropped dead of a heart attack at 30 years old.
Wow.
So there wasn't a dry eye on the house in that one. And she is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. She looks like there's this new show on ABC called Black Box. And the star of that is this redheaded, thin, beautiful woman. She has the same faces as the woman we made over, and she's got 2 little children, and she's trying to hold it together. She has a great support network going for her, but she's a young woman that's now a widow with two little children.
That's tough anyway you slice it. I don't care what kind of support you have. That
and she'll be fine, but it's a right now it's a rough go. So it was very touch and go because she was very emotional as you would expect.
Oh, sure. I bet. They had to just unglue everybody.
Unglued everybody, and the designer went bonkers. I mean, he wants to do more with us because I think and he has a military, not him himself, but his family, a military background, so they connect. And so it's just amazing how everybody finds this commonality and this wonderful way to connect and network and help and sponsor. I mean, it just continually blows me away.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's fabulous. I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, I
what
do
you
too.
Think, other than that, what do you think was the best part of the event for you? Because you've done a couple of these now, and
I mean, I look back on my website, and I bet you we've done like over 20 now, and we're still going strong. The best part is connecting with the women, because their stories are wonderful. They are strong and they're beautiful and they're interesting and they're so appreciative. So you have that story. Another one was, she was I think a captain when she left. I think it was the Marines, and then she went to work for Boeing, and now she's in New York, and she's taking her master's at Columbia. So you get so many varied stories. It's just terrific.
Well, and it just shows you the amazing facets of the human spirit, especially if we just lift each other up, because you're an expert at that, Linda. You're an expert at creating scenarios that lift people up so that they can be their absolute best.
Yeah, but what you said was right, and they, it's just getting all of these people in a room, and everybody's blown away. The guests are blown away, and the military are blown away, because it's just, when it's good, and people recognize the good. It's such a high vibration that everybody just has a really, really good time.
Oh, I love that. Well, on that note, I'm going to take us to commercial break, because when we come back from the break, we are going to talk about lifting ourselves up with gadgets and gizmos and beauty products and all these things that help us feel better about ourselves, and really, really become the best possible versions of ourselves, which is not easy. And most of the time we get in our own way, so we're going to welcome, when we come back from the break, Polly Monson, and she's got this great fitness program for 50-somethings, which is right up Linda's and my alley. And we're going to talk about some of the things that she teaches her clientele, some of the gadgets that are out there, because you know me, I'm a gadget girl. I have to buy everything that comes out. And we're going to hear more from Linda Franklin about her regime, because I'll tell you, I've seen Linda in person. I've met her. I've talked to her. She looks fantastic, and I look up to her, and I can't wait to hear more about what she does to keep herself beautiful.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Be sure to register your copy of SAM at www.spatialaudio.com. You'll feel warm and squishy inside once you do.
As a member of the baby boomer generation, you want insights and ideas that factor into planning for, making choices about, and activating your new or mothballed dreams. As a boomer, you can learn how to act on your visions by tuning into the Awakening to Awareness show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you are inspired to follow your own path, step into new directions, and are excited about what you, as a recent or soon-to-be retiree, can do with your life, this is your show. Listen to the show that focuses on self-belief and possibilities for emerging seniors who look forward to life's third act with dread or amazing promise. Host Eric Tonigson and his guests share entertaining ideas and explore strategies to reignite your passions and shift your intentions into action. In his naturally curious and motivating ways, Eric explores personal values, shares wisdom, and encourages you to unlock and live your potential and purpose. Join Eric and his Awakening to Awareness show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on the TogiNet Talk Radio Network.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and we have got a Powered Up segment that you're not going to want to miss, because we are going to talk about lifting each other up emotionally, spiritually, through food, through fitness, through gadgets, to be our absolute personal best. And when we were on break, Linda Franklin shared something with me that I would love for her to share with you guys. Linda, you were talking about your philosophy of getting to know yourself and recognizing what you can do. Can you share that for our listeners? Because I know there's a lot of women out there that are going to identify with what you said.
Well, yes, as women, we're programmed from a very early age to try to please, the need to please, which is a killer. And when you get to a certain stage in your life, and for everybody it's different, it's just like an aha moment. You've got to start saying, well, who am I? What makes me happy? What are the choices that I'm going to make for me? It's not being selfish. I hate that word selfish, because I think it's a very bad word, and women never want to be called, selfish. So it's just about, drilling down to who you are, realizing how powerful you really are, being conscious all the time of the choices that you make and how you're feeling. And, and it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But, the ultimate goal, for me anyway, is creating heaven on earth. And I believe that we can do that. But only we can do that for ourselves. Certainly the desire's got to be there. And then, just figuring it out.
Well, and Linda, that's so powerful, because, I'm on my own journey along with you. I'm trying to figure things, from the inside out. Like, I'm trying to get in touch with my feelings, try to figure out what I want to, do with my life with SAN 4.0. And, I found that one of the things you talked about like the selfishness of taking care of yourself, especially as a single mother. It's like, it is not selfish. It is necessary. And, my kids do not need me 24/7. I don't need to give myself away 24/7. It is okay. In fact, it is important that I take out a time of my life to work out, to spend time with good friends, to nurture myself from the inside out. And, I'm really excited to hear what Polly Monson has to say, because she's here on the show with us today, and she is a fitness expert. She's a wellness expert, and she runs a pretty neat program in New York City. So, Polly, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners.
I would love to. I'm Polly. I'm a trainer, fitness coach in New York City, and founder of Central Sweat, my company. And can I just say to begin with that I absolutely love this conversation. Like, I love everything both of you are saying, and I feel like you're taking all my lines. So I don't know.
No, there's always more to be added to this conversation, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not sure where you want me to begin. My company is Central Sweat. We deal with accessible fitness. I've been a trainer for about 8 years in lots of cities, Chicago, DC, now New York. And primarily what we do with Central Sweat is we do $5 workouts in Central Park for people who can't really afford a gym or a personal trainer, so at least we can get them out there once a week. And I am an online fitness coach, and with that I use a Fitness Mojo notebook to help people kind of figure out basically what Linda was saying a lot earlier, which is who they are, what they want, what's their intrinsic motivations to the choices that they make every day. But based in fitness, so based in nutrition, strength, cardio, mind, and self. Those are all the elements that I deal with.
Polly, how open are the women to this conversation? I mean, when you first meet them and then you go through those questions that you just said, do they kind of pull back, or are they forthcoming with the answers?
A little bit of both. They they are forthcoming in the sense that they want to confess to me anything and everything. Like, I will deal with nail biting habits, and I will deal with just anything across the board. But they are hesitant in the sense of not wanting to be completely honest with themselves about where they're at. And a lot too, in that they just don't know what to say. They don't know what applies. They don't know what they could be doing that's wrong. And that's mostly my job, is I listen to what they give me in terms of those categories, and I find the holes. Because when I find the holes, then we know what the first steps to take in order to fill those holes, whether it's in their diet, whether they don't know how to strength train, whether they just don't have the motivation to do it, or they can't find the time. And like you guys were saying earlier, a lot of it is based in this inherent thought of that they are being selfish by taking this time. And I tell them it's not selfish, it's self-preservation. I mean, I recently learned that 70% of healthcare costs in the US is based on human behavior, is based on what we do every day. And it's sad, but at the same time, I feel like it can be empowering, because it means that we can change it, that we have the power within us to do something about it. And it's my job as a wellness coach to motivate you and give you those choices to figure out how it can work for you on a very, very individual, personal level.
Well, and that's one of the things that I will tell you, like, I speak on behalf of, like, all the single mothers out there with small children. It's figuring out, and, Linda talked about figuring out what works for her. The challenge that I have, and I think a lot of people have, is my life changes like about every 3 months. My kids get into new sports. We get a new schedule. The school schedules change. And, I'm in a mode of constantly reacting. So there's not a lot of like I get Linda's, breakfast structure that's good for her structure in her life. I'm not a naturally structured person. So trying to figure out, all I can figure out, Polly, is that I know I need to work out in the morning, because by the time it's 5 or 6 o'clock at night, I've got too much on my plate. I can't focus. I can't stop. And I'm too tired. Yeah. And do you find that women are just multitasking just crazy amounts these days? Or is it just we're just scattered and can't focus? I don't know what my problem is.
I mean, absolutely, like all of the above. And the biggest thing, and that's one of the things, that's what we find out in these sessions as we talk about it. I figure out, do you work out in the morning, or do you like to work out at night? Where do you find your energy? Like, you and Linda are both right in the sense that Linda has an ongoing mojo. Like, I'm probably a little bit of both of you. Like, I eat the same breakfast every day for the last year and a half. But at the same time, I'm seasonal like you, where I like to do different things depending on the time of year. And in the health and wellness world and the science behind it, you should be changing it up, at least in the workout routines. But if you love the breakfast that you eat and it's healthy for you, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I'm only fixing it if you're telling me you're eating a donut every morning. Then we may have to like regroup a little bit and figure out a better strategy. Or when you were saying that you don't eat breakfast or eat anything until 10:30 in the morning, well, that's where I say, okay, let's work on your process goal, which is your daily habits, and let's try to figure out what's the best possible scenario for you getting something into your mouth in the first hour or two that you're out of bed, and how can we make that work. But that's why we need to talk about it. We need to spend that hour, because you're right, everyone's multitasking, and they're multitasking within the training sessions too. I'm $110 an hour, and you're trying to get a good workout, figure out what you're doing for the weekend, figure out what you're eating. I'm trying to watch your exercise, figure out the next exercise, count your reps. It's impossible, and it's not. It's too important. Your goals are too important to multitask. So you need to break it up. And that's what I'm trying to do with the fitness coaching and with the notebook and all of the things we're discussing.
So the training that you do other than Central Park for the $5 is all online. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is. It's primarily like what we're doing right now. We're having a discussion, and I like to do it face to face. I like to do it Google Hangout or Skype, because my clients are all over the country. I have some in Texas. I have some in Georgia. I have actually one in Germany right now. Like, it's kind of fun, and it gets me accessible to many different types of people, because the workout is only a small percentage of the overall overall what you need. Because I mean, a 1 hour workout for an average day is about 4% of your day. So what are you doing 96% of the time? We got to talk about it. And from there, and if I need to, I will show you a workout. Like I send strength workouts, I send videos of me doing the workouts so you understand them. But again, I think it's the bigger picture that I feel like both of you have. Well, I feel like Linda has a very strong grasp on, and Sandra, you're kind of like in the way of figuring out your mojo. But there's no wrong. There are no absolutes in this industry. They're just options, and we have those options. I can give you those options. You just need to find them out based on who you are and what you do on a day-to-day basis and what you like.
Well, and I think
you go ahead.
Linda,
I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you just explained to me, like, really kind of why I have a high, like, I'm just going to call it a high failure rate, in that I'm not really identifying the things that get in the way. I have a bunch of these DVD series that have been sent to me on the radio over the years. I love them. I love my workouts. I love all these things. But it's getting myself organized enough so that I can have some consistency in a very inconsistent lifestyle. And I think that's where a coach would really benefit me or women like me, because I do constantly have to adjust. Sometimes the year I have my 80-year-old dad to manage. Sometimes I don't. Other times of the year I travel a lot by car for my work. Sometimes I'm working from home. There's not a whole lot of consistency in my life other than it's inconsistent.
Sure. And you said that because you said you're reactive. And in this part of things, you need to be proactive. And maybe having a coach is proactive, or having the training sessions is proactive. Like Linda sounds like she's proactive in the way that she says she eats the same cereal. She knows when she has a breakfast coming up, so she still wants to get that cereal in, so she makes sure to get it in before she goes. Like, that's proactive. You think, and that's what I'm here for. And it becomes easier as you go along, and as you start to get, you find your niche in all of these certain areas, but it takes time. And like you said, everything is constantly changing. You have to find that balance, but it is something that you have to think ahead on, and it will be harder before it gets easier. But again, that's why I'm here, to help that process.
Okay, so let's see. I got to take us to commercial break. We've got a minute before break. Your website is Central, CENTRAL, sweat, like sweat feels good, centralsweat.com. Yep. When we come back from the break, we're going to visit more with you, because I want to hear about, some of these strategies that help women figure out the best, like workouts that fit in your lifestyle and the best nutrition plan, because that to me is a lot on somebody's plate. I also want to invite everybody to go to our Facebook page. We've recently put up a Facebook page, and we'd like you to go and like it, and we're going to have discussions on there so that we can better serve our community in the needs and wants of what you want to hear on the air. We come back from the break, we're going to visit more with Polly Monson of Central Sweat.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
This is for all you girls about 42. Tossing pennies into the fountain of youth.
I am not the woman I used to be. I'm free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet. This is your chance, ladies, to hear stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there. Someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet in spite of this trauma, she has gone on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not the woman I used to be. I'm Free is a straight-up show to enlighten you and to lighten your load. Do not let the weight of this world or the things that have happened to you control your life. For more on the show and Diane and her book, The Story of Me, email her directly from her show page here on TogiNet. Then, join us for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
It's time to uncover the inspired team leader within you. Overcome the challenges of hidden agendas and miscommunications that create stress and a lack of productivity. Project management expert Norm Prevost and connection expert Heather Hansen O'Neill will provide you with a consistent infusion of inspiration and team strategies. In addition, your hosts will invite knowledgeable leaders to inject different viewpoints, situations, and solutions for an all-encompassing perspective on achieving winning team performance. Spend 1 hour each Friday transforming your mindset and increasing your skills. The Inspired Team Leader Show, your path to innovative ideas and action items you can implement today to create a more productive team and feel amazing in your role. The Inspired Team Leader Show, heard every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on ABRN, the All Business Radio Network.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
This is for all you girls about 42.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and from coast to coast, we've got you covered in your 50s, 60s, and we are talking today about nutrition, strength, cardio, mind, health, all those things that keep us young, keep us beautiful. We're visiting today with Polly Monson of Central Sweat, and an interesting conversation came up during the break that I'd love to share with the audience, is that Linda and I were talking with Polly about how, I don't know, Linda, you are consistent. I am inconsistent. You were talking about rebelling against authority, and I'm like, Polly, I'm so busy. I'm so overwhelmed. Just tell me what to eat. Tell me what to do. Tell me to march, and I'll do it. And I think, Linda, you and I really run the gamut of two women who really want to have great health and great shape, but we approach it completely differently, and we have completely different lifestyles.
Yes, absolutely. But isn't that wonderful? Because that's why choices, we each make our own choices that work for us. If I tried to do yours, or you tried to do mine, or yours was right and mine was wrong, or vice versa, then, you get confused. That's why I keep saying you've got to figure out what works for you and do it, and don't listen to anybody else.
Right, but it's the figuring out. That's why, and it's so funny because I'm like, just tell me what to do. I will follow blindly because I cannot make another decision in my life right now.
I think you already, but when you find someone that you trust, and then they say, well, why don't you try this, and you do, and it works, stick with it.
That's you. That's you. I call you up and you tell me what to do, and I stick with it.
No, I have a trainer, and I've had a trainer for a while, and I think I go to the gym because I love my trainer. I do. I mean, we talk about all things spiritual and everything, and the hour that I spend with him is a wonderful hour. I may not get 100% the best workout in the world, but I keep going because I like being with Fred. I go and I just recently changed my cardio from the elliptical back to the treadmill because I was taking a little PT. And that's physical therapy. We talked about the workout, and he said, go back on the treadmill, go slow, but put that incline up to as far as you can get it, and hands off, baby, and watch that heart rate soar. And and he was right, and it worked for me, and I'm sweating like a son of a gun, and I'm saying I think I'm getting a better workout on the treadmill this way than I was on the elliptical. So you see, I can change.
Go ahead, Polly. You're going to have to weigh in on that one.
I was thinking, I was like, where should I go with this one? I love that, though. Like, I love that I was thinking, it reminds me of when I've left other cities. And honestly, the hardest people to say goodbye to are my clients, because just as Linda looks forward to that hour with Fred, I would always look forward to seeing Linda. Like, your clients kind of become your heart. They become your friends. They become kind of your family. You sometimes see them more than you see your boyfriend or your best friend, depending on how often they train with you. And I think that's important. And I like that as a trainer, actually. I don't think it's too involved. I think you need to be invested to a certain level because these are important things. I mean, you guys are really vulnerable when you get to us, and you have to put a whole lot of trust in us pretty quickly. So we need to respect that, and we need to earn that, really, but pretty much quickly, because we need to get you to your goals. And so again, I don't think, no one's saying anything wrong. Like I said, there are no absolutes to this. Sandra, if you need to be told what to do every day, then, and if you could afford to have someone there to tell you what to do every day, great. I mean, my training sessions right now with my clients in person and working out are great. I mean, it can work. But what I was seeing, the hole I was seeing in the industry itself, was that there was a whole gamut of people that I wasn't able to reach, who weren't getting enough from just seeing me once or twice a week, who could barely afford to see me once or twice a week, and who really needed more than just the standard workout, who didn't have the rest of the life pieces together yet, you know? So that's where Central Sweat came from, in essence. So it's just filling another hole. It's not replacing anything. It's not supposedly better. It's just a different type. And for people who, most of my clients don't have a gym, actually, who are online. It's a lot of body weight workouts. It's a lot of at-home workouts. I mean, you can get workouts from cooking. You get workouts from chasing your children. You get workouts from gardening, biking, swimming, anything. Like, it can come from so many different places, but people just don't realize it, which again is what we talk about and what we try to figure out together to get you working, so you are able to marry what you want with what you need. And that's the key for my goal with all of my clients and with online coaching and with blogs, is for you to figure out how to marry all the things that you want to do in life, but have them kind of be the same things that you need. We get to do that as trainers because we have all the knowledge. We have all the choices. If we want pizza, we know how to make a healthy pizza. If we don't like running, we know how to put an incline on a treadmill and make it just as hard. But you guys don't have that advantage. And that's where we come in to try to guide you to figure out how your life can be that way. Because I don't diet and sacrifice any days. I love what I eat. I love what I do. And maybe the workout itself isn't the, I'm not like, woohoo, jump squats are great. These are some great lunges I'm doing. I'm so happy right now, but I definitely know how I feel when I'm done. And that's awesome.
Well, and I think the real benefit, like what I'm hearing, and I hear with Linda, what she said with Fred, like there's the emotional support, there's the connection, but there's also, like, I think you need both of those, and you need the knowledge base. Because I think back to like 5 years ago, somebody I had on one of my shows said to me, well, if you're at soccer every day, instead of sitting in your lawn chair watching the other kids run around, why don't you walk or jog around the field? And when I first started doing that, Polly, because I live, north of Los Angeles, I live in a horse community, and people they walk a lot around here, but they all sit in their lounge chairs and sip while, the kids play soccer. And there I was hoofing it around, these 4 fields. I got in like 3 mile kind of run, walk, jog while I was watching my kids. And, everybody looked at me like I was a lunatic. And now we all get together when it's soccer season, and all the moms walk together. We all chat and have a great time, and we work out during their soccer practice. And it was just that one little light that turned on that made such a big difference. I think that's what you're talking about, is you can look at somebody's life and go, okay, you can make a couple really small modifications that can make a big difference in your health.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you hit the nail on the head. And I'm actually going to steal that because that's an amazing idea. I love that.
Yeah, well, somebody else's. I think it was Rhoda Brynan, the fitness and nutrition coach on my Motherhood Talk Radio. And she said whenever you get together, and the other one she gave me was that when you want to get together with your girlfriend, she says most people get together like that and they drink or they meet at restaurants and they eat. And she's like, why don't you guys meet in the park and, you guys can all walk together. You can swing on the swings. You can kick a soccer ball. And, we're all moms and it's so much fun, for us to get to do this. And so now we get physical together rather than sitting sedentary and eating and drinking.
No, that's great. I love that. And I have recommended that to a couple of my clients, because you're right. The support system is the big deal. I mean, not only do you have the friends or the family do they practice healthy habits? Do you live with someone that is a healthy habit type of person? Like, you need that. And with trainers too, people like the accountability. Like, they like having someone to be held accountable to, and that's who we are to them. And that's great. And I embrace that role fully. But I do know, ideally, at the end of the day, I want you to not need me. I want you to be accountable to yourself. I want you to feel the positive repercussions of your actions. And get the internal validation more than the external validation coming from me or family or whatnot. Kind of, I don't know, that's my main goal for people in the long run. But for right now, definitely support system, definitely accountability. I think they're key for a lot of people. So you're not in it by yourself.
Polly, tell our listeners how your program works. What do they do? Like with Fred, I buy a series of trainings. Do people buy a series of time with you on the phone? What does it look like? What does the program look like?
Okay, well, the program at first they'll email me, and I send out a questionnaire first to kind of figure out if you're right for the program, meaning if you have any sort of really major physical injuries or any sort of disease that may need a little bit more expertise, I will always recommend you seeing a doctor first. Because we're online, there are some safety issues, so I always want to be extra careful with whoever I'm working with. Based off that, then you get another kind of bigger questionnaire, which is kind of your life questionnaire. And it kind of takes me through what your days look like, what you like doing, what your background is, what your goals are. And with that, we do a Skype session, Skype or Google Hangout or whatever anyone's comfortable with. So I can get to know you, you can get to know me, and I can start to develop the notebook this way. And based out of your answers is what I do, is I develop this 8-part notebook with strength and cardio day to day, like Sandra telling you what to do every single day, which people love, based on what you want and what you have access to. And then we meet once a week and the accountability for the 1 hour. So we talk about how much progress you've made, where have you regressed, where do we still need to fill in some holes, just kind of currently week to week. Because I started just doing the notebooks, and then I realized people need that accountability. And this is an ongoing learning process. This is a pretty big deal. And it's going to take you a while, I think, depending on, your starting point, obviously. So I start people slow. And it takes they say changing one habit, if you take one habit at a time, it's about 80% successful. You try to challenge 2 habits at a time, and it drops down to 20%.
But you're not telling me timelines. I mean, I've been going to Fred for 10 to 15 years. Is this an ongoing part of somebody's life, or is it 10 weeks and on to the next?
Ideally, I put it at about 3 months. So each notebook is based around a month for you. And again, it depends on what your starting point is and how much we need to deal with, how much weight you need to lose or strength you want to gain or just habits you need to break, things like that. Will definitely affect it. But you can go from, ideally it would be about a 3-month process, which meeting once a week, and then you can go down to meeting once every other week, and then, so on and so forth. But it's a very individual basis. But yes, ideally I would like to see it around 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Well, and this program is really custom. I was thinking about all the programs I've heard over the years. There's a lot of different programs out there. And if you're somebody like me who is struggling with organization, struggling with figuring things out, and your stuff does change, it really makes a lot of sense to hire a health coach like Polly. We're going to come back and visit more with Polly after the break. Polly Monson can be found at centralsweat.com. She uses Skype, Google Hangouts. She's available for coaching all over the world. So that's pretty cool.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Chances are you didn't give birth to Einstein. So why are you trying to raise your child to be like him? Welcome to Stop Raising Einstein with your host, Tara Kennedy Klein, Woohoo Radio Network's parenting show dedicated to helping you release the myth of the perfect parent and discover the unique brilliance in your child and you. Tara and her panel of amazing, intelligent, and sometimes off-the-wall guests will share the tips, tools, trends, and techniques available that will help you stop raising Einstein and start relishing your role as a proud and present parent. Join her every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for Stop Raising Einstein, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu. Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com. Helen Wu was born and raised in San Francisco's Chinatown. And after a very difficult upbringing, fighting depression, abuse, and addictions, she finally finds herself genuinely happy inside and out. Helen believes in taking our positive thinking and doing something positive to achieve a positive outcome. She's here to make a positive difference in your life, to be your game changer, your aha moment mentor. She's ready to help both men and women get into a better place. Helen Wu is also the author of Self-Aid Success Stories, 25 success stories from successful entrepreneurs. Inspired by Ellen DeGeneres, Helen wants the world to know that just because we find ourselves in a difficult situation doesn't mean we have to stay there. We can aid ourselves to a better life. So join us for Self-Aid Success Stories with Helen Wu. Wednesday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Linda Franklin, and we are visiting with health and wellness coach Polly Monson of CentralSweat.com. She coaches people all over the world on nutrition, strength, cardio, mind, health, wellness, and spirit we were talking about. One of the things that I find, Polly, in my business as an internet brand strategist by trade, and I do a lot of coaching and consulting for people in their web businesses, that people have to be coachable. They have to have the right mindset. And Linda mentioned on the break a little bit about resistance. I believe that we are our own worst enemy every single time when it comes to coaching, because people have to be coachable. In your experience, what makes a person coachable in your mind?
In my mind, when I meet somebody for the first time and we start talking about what they want or how they're feeling in the moment, the more I see the goals coming from the inside, more of their own. They just almost want to feel better. There's no extraneous goal like, I need to get fit for a wedding, or I just want to be skinny. Like they don't have any clue of what they need. They just know that they need something, and they're just super motivated at the same time. They're just like, I want this to get better. And they're super open-minded, which is also great. They come in and they're willing to absorb anything I tell them, which is never like, I'm not giving them a, one note answer to anything, but at the same time, I can tell that they're willing to work, and they work outside of me pretty quickly. Like they want homework and they want accountability, and they text me and they email me and they ask me tons of questions. Those are the people that I know are kind of in it to win it, more than the people that just kind of come in and have the mindless like, well, I need to be a size 4. Let's make that happen. Or, well, I want to lift 100 pounds. But they don't really know why they're doing it. That's the key, to know why. Why do you want these things for yourself? Like, why? If you don't know that, then you're not going to last very long, I think.
Polly, when you have your initial interview with somebody, probably Skype, because I think when you're looking at someone kind of face to face, it's easier. Do you ever refuse a client because you're just the energy and the vibes are just not right, and this is going to be a lot? It's going to suck out your energy like nobody's business. So you just say thanks, but no thanks.
I'm trying to think if I've ever done that. I've really only refused on the basis of extreme health issues, or the person having something that I know I'm not qualified to treat. Other than that, in terms of personality, I've always been able to deal with a very wide spectrum of people, and honestly, I kind of take it as a challenge, because they're probably coming to me rather broken, and people can be this way for a reason, and it's about getting to the root of that reason. If I dismiss them like probably most of the world does because they're hard to deal with, or they're aggravating, or just very, very high maintenance, then they're kind of running out of options. Maybe in that way it's more of a therapist approach. I mean, they are hiring me. I'm still paid to be there for that hour. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But
No, it did. So basically, you're saying no, and once they're in it, and once let's say they've done 5 sessions or something, and you say, wow, I'm like beating my head against the wall, and it's too tough on me. Now that hasn't happened either.
I'm thinking. No, not really, because again, it doesn't get too tough for me before they quit. I'll be very frustrated, and I'll definitely want to shake them vigorously many times. And if it gets to that point that it's like so exasperating, they've usually gone. It's usually like they've severed the tie because they can't handle the work or the responsibility or the accountability, whatever it is, before I ever have to like throw the gauntlet down.
Right. Do you ever do husbands and wives, or mothers and children, or together?
I have, actually. I have. Not online. I've done in person husband-wife training for their wedding, actually. That was amazing. It was great. It was really fun. I don't know if I lucked out to have a pretty happy, normal couple, but it was good. Mother-daughter, I haven't. I would love to, actually. I really like, especially adolescent, like athletic training with adolescents and nutrition and things like that. I think the earlier you start learning, the better, obviously. And the mother-daughter dynamic is so important. I had an amazing mom who gave me so much empowerment and never made me feel like less of myself, but I know that's not always the case with some, and maybe the moms don't even realize it. In the South, I feel like sometimes we have that issue. So I would always be willing to do it. Absolutely.
So you're still doing your trainings in Central Park as well?
I am. We do it seasonally. So we start up June 7th at 9 a.m. in the morning. We have some great camaraderie when I'm dragging everybody out of bed at 8 a.m. to Central Park. But it's good. It's really fun. It's a great community of people. I enjoy it a lot.
What day is that?
Saturday, June 7th is when we start. And it's every Saturday for the rest of the summer until September 13th.
Okay. Well, you can post that on our Facebook page, too, because that might be even something interesting for my veteran ladies if they want to get in a good workout.
Oh, my goodness, absolutely. Anybody's welcome. It's boot camp, but boot camp just to me means we work out outside. But everything's body weight, timed, obviously. I'm a professional. There's another trainer there to make sure everybody's safe and good. So it's really fun. It's really fun.
So is it possible to be fit and healthy with a half an hour of working out a day? I mean, I was a college swimmer. We used to swim, and I was a distance swimmer. So, we would work out for hours. And, I look at all this stuff today, and I look at all these cool gadgets that are on there, and I'm the first one. I've got stuff that I can hook my iPhone, and I can track this and track that. But then I find myself getting so lost in the data, and the interesting thing of it, I'm like stopped on the treadmill. Is it really possible to do these things in the 30 minutes or less?
Yes. I mean, there's, anything's possible, I guess. I mean, my argument to that would be I could find you a little bit more than 30 minutes, but if you absolutely had to, yes. I mean, they say about 150 minutes of cardio or aerobic training a week is good for weight loss. The 10,000 steps that they offer with like the Fitbits and things is basically about a 30-minute a day workout. But I do advise that if you are going to go for a 30-minute workout, you got to make it a workout. That doesn't count to the walk to the lunch place on your lunch hour or the walk around the park. That's a workout. You need to get your heart rate up. You need to be working. It needs to be total body. If you're only giving yourself that, and that's it. Because nutrition and everything else is also going to play a big role. That's why the workout's only a small part of it, but it's an important part. And that's part of what we would do is figure out how to get you a little bit more than 30 minutes, at least on a couple of days. No one has to be crazy. So, but, again, we just figure out what would work best for you. Because you're burning calories constantly. You're burning calories in a lot of things that you do. And it could be the difference of walking around a soccer field or taking the stairs instead of the elevator just a few times a week adds up. So that's probably what I would say to that.
So a good workout, an important part of the workout for at least 30 minutes is getting your heart rate up to get really good cardio, yes?
Yes, sure, yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, stretching, and for older women especially, older women, I laugh when I say that, is strength training too, because that's very important for your bones.
Oh yes, absolutely. No, and that starts with older women, us around 30.
Yes,
Around
you old ladies at 30, right? No, the earlier you start, the better off it is. That's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your body does kind of start working against you around late 20s, early 30s, where you start losing that lean muscle, and you need to keep it. You need to get it back, and you need to keep it there. Otherwise, you're burning less calories at rest, and that's when the slow weight gain starts. But muscle is everything, which is one of the little downsides to the Fitbits and things out there, is they can't measure that. They don't measure a weight workout, and it's so important. The strength workouts are so important, and that's usually the biggest hole I'm filling with a lot of my clients. Because I mean, Linda, you work out with a trainer, like how much goes into it, how much knowledge, how many choices you have, how many different options there are, what weights to pick. I mean, it's a lot, but it's important.
So Sandra, she can tell you exactly what to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed who said what. Sorry.
No, I just said to Sandra, so Polly can tell you exactly what to do.
Yes, like Robo Cop or Robo Trainer. So if you could pick one of the things that you mentioned early on in the show, and we've only got a couple minutes for break, if you could focus on any one of these 5 things to have a healthier life, I'm talking overall health, nutrition, strength, cardio, mind, or fitness. Those were things that you talked about earlier in the show. What one would you focus on? Where would you begin?
Obviously mind. If your mind's not there, nothing else is going to work. If your mindset is stubborn, if it's closed-minded, if it's just not, we got to open that up, or nothing else will get accomplished, no matter how much advice I give or how many tools I give you or gadgets or gizmos. You got to get the mind in first. So that's where I would go.
Ooh, I like that, Linda. What about you?
No, I agree. I mean, you have to be invested in anything that you do in life. If you're not invested, if you only play at it, you're not going to be happy with it. You'll find reasons to let it go. As we do, well, this is suck, this doesn't work, blah, 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 whether it be a job or a training or food or whatever. So your mind, you really have to make a decision to say, yes, this is important to me, and I'm going to give it some time, and I'm going to give it some energy.
Exactly. Nope, that's exactly what I think as well.
Okay, Polly, we've got a minute before I have to close out the show. Your best piece of advice for our listeners today.
Best piece of advice? Wow, that's putting me on the spot. I would say go back to asking yourself why. What do you want? And make a realistic goal for yourself, and just start with step 1, but keep your goals close. Keep them small goals. I don't want to lose 50 pounds. I want to lose 5 pounds. It's not that I will never eat chocolate cake again. It's just that I'm not going to eat it today. Change your mindset, and it'll be more. You'll accomplish it more. You'll feel more like you can accomplish it. That's my advice.
That's funny, because I always tell my clients, change your mind and your body will follow. If you change your mind, your body will follow, your money will follow. Everything happens, from the drill down, from the spirit to the mind to the body. So I want to thank you so much, Polly, for being our guest today. We can find you at centralsweat.com. Linda and I wish you the very best of health, happiness, fitness, and work on your nutrition, your strength, but start with the mind. Next week, we will come back with another show about health, fitness, wellness, and the best you could possibly be.
We're so glad you joined us for Powered Up with Beck and Franklin. Sandra Beck, Los Angeles-based single mother and technology company owner, knows what it's like to be fit, funny, and fantastic in your 40s. Linda Franklin, a New Yorker with a successful marriage